What if the goal of the world's most powerful families wasn't just to make their kids rich, but to forge a dynasty of leaders? While new money often gets caught up in flashy lifestyles, old money has a time-tested system for producing rulers. It's a quiet, deliberate process that has kept names like Rockefeller, Rothschild, and DuPont in the halls of power for centuries. This isn't about inheriting a fortune, it's about inheriting a mantle of leadership. It's a system designed to create people who think in generations, not fiscal quarters. They're taught to command, govern, and preserve, while the rest of us are often taught to obey, consume, and follow. Today, we're pulling back the curtain on the hidden strategies these dynastic families use, from elite education and strict family governance to a core philosophy of stewardship to ensure their legacy of leadership endures. These are the unwritten rules that separate the temporarily rich from the permanently powerful. Section 1. The Dynastic Blueprint: Governance over Gifting Money. The first thing that separates old money from almost everyone else is how they see the family itself. It's not just a group of relatives, it's an enterprise, a kingdom in miniature. And every kingdom needs a government. This is why they prioritize governance over just gifting money away. For many newly rich families, passing on wealth is a simple transaction. You write a check, set up a trust, or hand over the keys to the company. The goal is to give the next generation the fruits of success. To an old money family, this is a recipe for disaster. They know that handing over a fortune without a framework to manage it is like giving a loaded weapon to someone with no training. It's more likely to cause destruction than prosperity. The old money solution is to build a system of family governance. This is a formal, structured way of managing the family's assets, its values, and its future. It's not a suggestion box at dinner. It's a sophisticated framework that often includes a family constitution and a family council. Think of the family constitution as the founding document. It's a written declaration of the family's mission, its core values, and its vision. It's the why behind all the wealth. This document might outline the family's approach to philanthropy, its philosophy on risk, or the educational standards required for the next generation. It's a North Star, ensuring that 100 years from now, a descendant can read it and understand what the family stands for. This isn't about controlling from the grave, it's about providing a timeless set of guiding principles. Then you have the family council, which acts like the family's board of directors. Made up of members from different branches and generations, the council meets regularly to make critical decisions, and these aren't small matters. They're debating the management of shared assets, the strategic direction of the family business, and how to resolve conflicts. Involving younger family members in these councils is a core part of their leadership training. From a young age, they're brought into the room, not to vote, but to listen and learn. They witness debates about multi-million-dollar investments. They hear discussions about navigating geopolitical risks. They learn how to build consensus among relatives who all want different things. This is their real-world MBA and their leadership seminar rolled into one. It teaches them to think not as individuals, but as senators of their own dynasty, responsible for the collective good. This entire framework forces a huge psychological shift. It moves the focus from entitlement to responsibility. An heir isn't just waiting for a payout, they're being groomed to one day take a seat on the council and become a steward of the family's legacy. Their inheritance isn't just the money, it's the duty to govern it wisely. While others are taught to follow the rules of society, the children of dynastic families are taught to write the rules for their own sovereign entity. They learn statecraft at the dinner table. Section 2. The Chief Emotional Officer: The Secret Weapon of the Elite. In the modern world, we often see the dual-income household as the ideal. Both parents work to maximize financial output. But old money families are playing a much longer game. They understand that raising a leader is a full-time job, and they often deploy one of their most valuable assets to do it: a dedicated parent. One useful way to think about this role, often filled by one parent who steps back from a traditional career, is as the chief emotional officer of the family. This isn't a stay-at-home parent in the conventional sense. It's a strategic position, and it's arguably one of the most critical for the dynasty's survival. While one parent might act as the chief financial officer, growing the family's capital, the CEO's job is to grow the family's human capital. The responsibilities here are huge. The primary duty is passing down the family's core values. Things like integrity, discipline, and discretion aren't learned from a textbook. They're absorbed through thousands of daily interactions and conversations. The CEO is the one who makes sure these values are not just taught, but deeply ingrained. They are the living embodiment of the family constitution. This parent is also the architect of the child's world. They aren't just arranging playdates, they're curating a social network. They manage relationships with other powerful families, with elite schools, and with the cultural institutions the family supports. They are the social diplomats of the dynasty, ensuring their children are fluent in the language of the elite circles they will one day lead. This model also provides the emotional stability needed to raise resilient leaders. Growing up with immense wealth and expectation can be incredibly isolating and stressful. The constant presence of a dedicated parent provides a secure emotional anchor. This parent can spot and nurture a child's unique talents, guide them through the pressures of their position, and teach them the emotional intelligence, the ability to read people and manage relationships that is absolutely essential for leadership. This approach stands in stark contrast to outsourcing child-rearing to nannies and boarding schools. Old money certainly uses these resources, but they're always seen as supplements, not substitutes. The core moral and emotional education comes directly from the top. You don't delegate your most important job. This strategy is one of the greatest competitive advantages old money has. It ensures that while the rest of the world is busy with daily logistics, the dynastic family has a senior executive focused solely on its most important product, the next generation of leaders. Section 3. The Crucible of Responsibility. Forging financial acumen. For most of us, financial education is passive. Maybe we had a high school economics class or read a few articles online. But for old money families, that's an unacceptable risk. They believe financial illiteracy is the disease that destroys legacies. So financial education isn't an afterthought. It's an active, lifelong crucible that starts in childhood. The goal isn't to teach them how to be rich, but how to be stewards. A rich person sees money as something to spend. A steward sees capital as something to be preserved, grown, and deployed for the long-term benefit of the family. To instill this mindset, they make children active participants in the family's financial life from a very young age. The Rockefeller method is a classic example. Legend has it that the Rockefeller children were given a tiny allowance, maybe 25 cents a week, but this money came with strict rules. They had to keep a detailed ledger accounting for every single penny. This taught them discipline. More importantly, they were required to save a portion and give a portion to charity before they could spend what was left. This simple structure, save, give, spend, ingrained a powerful hierarchy of values. The future and the community came before personal wants. As the kids become teenagers, the training gets far more serious. Many dynastic families create a junior investment committee. This isn't a simulation. The teens are given control of a real, though relatively small, pool of capital. They have to research investments, present their ideas to a committee of senior family members and advisors, and defend their decisions. They report on their performance and are held accountable for the results. This process is a masterclass in leadership. It teaches them financial analysis and risk management, sure, but more importantly, it teaches them to think and act like a principal. They feel the sting of a bad investment and the satisfaction of a good one. They learn that capital isn't just a number on a page, but a powerful tool that demands intelligence and prudence. This early immersion in finance also demystifies wealth. When kids are kept in the dark about money, it can become a magical, limitless thing in their minds, which leads to entitlement. Old money does the opposite. They are transparent about the responsibilities that come with wealth. As David Rockefeller wrote in his memoirs, a core family lesson was that touching capital is a cardinal sin, and you should try to live on your income. That single idea captures the essence of stewardship. The capital is the engine, the income is what you live on. By forcing them into this crucible of responsibility early, they forge leaders who are comfortable with the weight of wealth and are ready to become masters of their financial destiny. Section 4. The currency of character. Integrity as the ultimate asset. In a world obsessed with fluctuating stock prices and social media metrics, old money operates on a different gold standard: character. They know that fortunes can be won and lost, but a reputation for integrity is the most stable and valuable asset a family can have. In the highest echelons of power, trust is the ultimate currency. This is why cultivating character, specifically integrity, discipline, and resilience, is a central pillar of their upbringing. These aren't just nice virtues, they are strategic tools for leadership. For these families, integrity is everything. Your word is your bond isn't a quaint saying, it's the non-negotiable code of conduct. Children are taught, mostly by observing their parents, that a promise made is a promise kept, no matter the cost. They see their parents choose the ethical path over the more profitable shortcut. They learn that in their world, a handshake can be more binding than a 100-page contract because it's backed by the full faith and credit of their family name. This commitment to integrity gives them a huge advantage. In a world where everyone's looking for an angle, a person known for being completely honest becomes a magnet for opportunity. People want to do business with them. They're entrusted with sensitive information. Their reputation opens doors that are closed to almost everyone else. Discipline is the engine that turns talent into achievement. Old money families instill a powerful sense of discipline from a young age. This goes way beyond chores. It's the discipline of focus, the ability to pursue a single goal with relentless commitment. It's the discipline of restraint, avoiding the temptation of instant gratification. And it's the discipline of work. Children are taught that their name doesn't exempt them from effort, it demands more of it. Finally, there is resilience. These families know that power and wealth attract challenges. They don't shield their children from failure. They teach them to see it as a necessary part of the journey. They're taught to endure setbacks and emerge stronger. A leader who crumbles at the first sign of pressure isn't a leader. By building resilience, they create individuals who can weather any storm. Together, integrity, discipline, and resilience form a kind of psychological armor. They create leaders who aren't easily swayed by public opinion or tempted by easy answers. While others focus on building a portfolio of financial assets, old money knows that the most critical investment is in building a portfolio of character traits. Because in the long run, the quality of a family's character is what determines if the dynasty stands or falls. Section 5. The power of quiet influence, discretion, modesty, and strategic philanthropy. In our age of influencers, success is often measured by how visible you are. The louder and flashier, the better. Old money plays the exact opposite game. Their mantra isn't "look at me," but "let them wonder." They have mastered the art of quiet influence, knowing that true power isn't about being the loudest person in the room, but the one who doesn't need to speak at all. This philosophy is built on 3 pillars: discretion, modesty, and strategic philanthropy. Discretion is the first and most sacred rule. Old money families are notoriously private. They avoid splashy interviews, gaudy displays of wealth, and public drama. This isn't shyness, it's a calculated strategy. They know that public attention attracts scrutiny, envy, and risk. It makes you a target. By operating under the radar, they maintain their freedom of action. Their privacy is a shield that lets them wield their influence without interference. Children learn from birth not to discuss the family's finances and to carry themselves with a quiet confidence, not an arrogant swagger. The second pillar is modesty, which is just discretion in physical form. While new money might buy a fleet of neon supercars, old money is more likely to drive a well-maintained but unremarkable luxury sedan. Their homes are often hidden from public view, designed for family life, not for showing off. For instance, John D. Rockefeller Jr. was famously hesitant to put his family's name on Rockefeller Center, worried it might seem too boastful. This modesty extends to their style. Timeless, high-quality clothing over flashy, logo-driven fashion. It's a quiet language of power that signals to other elites that they belong. The third and most powerful pillar is strategic philanthropy. For old money, this isn't just charity, it's a primary tool for shaping society. They don't just write checks, they build institutions. The names we see on major universities, museums, and hospitals, Carnegie, Mellon, Stanford, and Duke, are a testament to this strategy. Their philanthropy is strategic because it creates a positive public legacy, building immense social capital. It also offers significant financial advantages in tax planning. But most importantly, it allows them to guide society in a direction they favor. By funding specific research, endowing professorships, or supporting policy think tanks, they can shape public debate and influence the world. The Rockefeller Foundation's role in global public health is a prime example of philanthropy as a tool of global influence. It's the ultimate expression of quiet leadership, changing the world from the shadows, not the spotlight. Section 6. The Gilded Classroom. Education for dominion, not just employment. For most people, the purpose of education is to get a job. You go to a good school to get good grades to get a good job. For old money, the purpose is entirely different. It's not about getting a job, it's about learning to rule. Their educational path is designed to produce individuals capable of managing a global enterprise and leading a dynasty into the next century. This is education for dominion. The process often begins at exclusive private schools, like Eton in the UK or Phillips Exeter in the US. These schools offer more than just tough academics. They are the first layer of the network, immersing children in a peer group of other future leaders. The friendships forged there are the beginning of a powerful global network that will pay dividends for a lifetime. The capstone of this journey is almost always an elite university like Harvard, Yale, Oxford, or Cambridge. And while the world-class education is important, the real prize is the network. These universities are the central clearinghouses for future global leaders. A degree from one of these institutions grants immediate access and a baseline of credibility in any room of power. This social capital is often considered more valuable than the family's financial capital. But the real old money curriculum extends far beyond the classroom. There's a second social curriculum they must master. They are expected to become culturally fluent, developing a sophisticated understanding of art, history, and classical music. They learn about fine wine, not to be a snob, but so they can confidently host a state dinner. They learn to sail or play polo, not just for fun, but because that's where deals are done and alliances are formed. And they're often expected to be fluent in multiple languages, because the world of power is global. This social education is leadership training. It gives them the polish and poise to move seamlessly between a board meeting in New York, an art auction in London, and a diplomatic function in Geneva. It ensures they never look or feel like an outsider. It's an apprenticeship for power, ensuring that when it's their turn to lead, they are not just qualified, but supremely capable of commanding their dynasty and influencing the world around them. These strategies aren't just historical artifacts, they're a living blueprint for building a legacy that lasts. They require discipline, foresight, and a radical shift from short-term gain to multi-generational thinking. If you're committed to building not just wealth, but a true legacy, subscribe for more insights into the strategies of the world's most enduring dynasties. And for your next step, watch our video on the 7 rules for turning your family into a dynasty for an even deeper, actionable framework. So, how does old money raise leaders, not followers? It's not by accident, but by design. It's a comprehensive, multi-generational strategy that treats the family like a serious institution. They build a government, not just a bank account, teaching statecraft from a young age. They dedicate a parent to the full-time role of cultivating the next generation's character. They forge financial acumen through real-world responsibility, teaching stewardship over spending. They build their entire world on the currency of character, knowing integrity and discipline are the most durable assets of all. They wield power through quiet influence, shaping the world without needing the spotlight. And they pursue an education for dominion, acquiring not just knowledge, but the networks and cultural fluency required to lead. This system is a world away from the simple chase for riches. It's a deliberate, patient, and profound process designed for a single purpose: to ensure the family name doesn't just mean rich, but that for generations to come, it is synonymous with leader. It's about thinking in centuries, not just years, and building a legacy that's etched in stone, not written in sand.